Hey there, thanks for joining me on this episode 99 of the Positioning to Profit podcast. I'm Patty Dominguez. I am happy you're here. Thank you for being here. Okay, today's show is a solo show, and I am going to be sharing my strategy for social media and how to combat the thing where you don't want to do it. You're like, oh my gosh, do I have to do social media? And why I'm having such a struggle with it, or I've had a struggle with it, I should say. I really have to be careful with my words here. Let me retract that. So cancel that. Why I had to search for another way to manage my social media. Yes, I do have a social media manager, Charlotte, who has been with me now for about 2.5 years, which is unbelievable. She's so great. She totally helps me to project the brand of Positioning to Profit, of Prolific Cafe, and all the things we have to offer. But I will be fully transparent and share that part of me, I don't like doing social media necessarily, where once upon a time, I was always on social media. I don't have a problem with being on camera. I don't have a problem with putting myself out there. So what gives, Patty? What gives? So I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit of a story and what is going to help me to cut that gap, right? To take care of the gap that I have in my head around social media and the way to take care of that. It is a system that I have for posting on social media, which is a combination of things that I've learned through different mentors, as well as how to project and amplify your brand. So that's where the positioning stuff ties in. Okay. So that's what I'm going to be covering today. Now, it's episode 99. Next week, it'll be a solo show. It'll be a special show because it is episode 100, and I'm super excited about it. Now, if you are looking for accountability and community, you absolutely must check out Prolific Cafe. We're offering a special offer trial. And if you'd like more information, prolificcafe.com. And so with that, I am going to get on with the show and share with you my social media strategy. All right, so here we go. Hey there, I'm Patty Dominguez. You're about to discover what it means to position your brand and your business to stand out. This show explores the stories of small business owners just like you who are bringing their message out to the world and impacting their tribe. So if you want to take your business to a category of one status, then hang with me because this podcast shares everything you need to know about how to be more prolific with your brand so that you can have more profits. Okay, here we go. This is going to help you to reignite your social media strategy. Okay, that's going to be my promise right from the get-go. I'm going to be dropping some simple to activate tips for your social media. But first, let me just do a little bit of a background. So once upon a time, I was in a network marketing business like 2009, 2010. At the time, I really thought that that was going to be my vehicle out of my corporate job. I was presented with the idea of being in an MLM or network marketing business. And to me, it made perfect sense. I'm like, wow, this is an incredible business model. How does the world not know about this, you know? And I'm very thankful for the book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because it really introduced the entire concept of being an employee is basically trading your time for money. And so through a series of events, I was like, got laid off and really had that huge epiphany. I'm like, oh my God, I'm no different than the French fry guy at McDonald's. I have to find a way. So I got into network marketing through a complete fluke of a situation where I met a woman and she was like, I'm here to build my business. And I said, tell me more. And that opened the door to being a part of the company that I was in for a hot minute. And what came out of that, though, was a really interesting strategy around how to utilize social media. Now, again, this is going back 2010. Oh my God, it seems like forever ago, but conceptually, a lot of it still applies to this day. And as a matter of fact, I do have a few friends in network marketing who are massively successful, and they learned this social media strategy and grew incredible like downlines and are mega successful. So I take that. I met an early mentor of mine, Kurt Molly, who kind of introduced this whole concept around the social media and how to model it. And then I took a little bit of that and I took what I learned somewhere else. And it's kind of like a salad bar. I was explaining this to a client of mine. It's like you take a little here, a little there, and you make it into your own, right? So this is really pretty much a salad of strategies that I've learned throughout my time. And when I did go out on my own and started my coaching, I was extremely active on social media following the strategy. And what happened was, at the time, so I have two boys, my youngest was 12. He was like in middle school and he was getting cyberbullied. So it was really, really the start of a very tough time for him. And so much so that this lasted, I mean, it's been a ride. Okay, let's just say that. And what transpired out of that is like, I effing hate social media. I completely disengaged. I didn't want to partake in it whatsoever because it had given me such a bad taste in my mouth around what it could do to people, right? The comparison game and seeing how much damage it had done and people do to each other on social media. I just didn't want to be any part of it. I really struggled with going back. And I'm telling you, I was really consistent initially. And I was always on there. I was posting stuff and doing video. I didn't have a problem with it at all. But it wasn't until that episode, it left a mark in my head where I hate social media. And so in my head, I know and I recognize the importance of it to grow your brand and your business. So not for lack of the awareness that social media is important, because a lot of people say, wow, how come you're not out there more? Like, I haven't really heard of you and you do all these things and stuff. And it's like, I do just enough to say, yes, I have a presence, but I don't go above and beyond. And so long story short, one of the things that I learned from my mentor, Jim Fortin, is he talks about stop asking how good you are and start asking who you can serve. And so when you really, really understand and know that fundamental truth, that philosophy in life will change your life. And so I've gone back to the drawing board and really recognized that I have to, or I'm choosing to, leave those stories around the cyberbullying and what social media, how much emotion I put on not liking social media, kind of put that to the side and really recognize that I love what I do so much. You get literally have no idea how much I love what I do. I wake up and I literally have such a sense of fulfillment because I get to do what I get to do. Now, I happen to think the community that I run in Prolific Cafe is literally the best ever, and my vision is super solid. And so I really think about okay, who else can I serve? Because the thing is, the women in Prolific Cafe literally have these heart-centered, purpose-driven, conscious capitalism perspectives on what they are creating. And I get to help them with the strategy, right? With the marketing strategy to get the word out so that they can serve the people they are meant to serve. So I really see my role in this as such a privilege and so important. So important. It's very clear to me in my head. So with that, I'm like, okay, let me put my ego aside because this is just working from my lower self when I think about social media and how much I quote unquote hate it. And so I'm choosing to let it go. So here we are. It's the beginning of the summer, beginning of a new month. And Tracy in Prolific Cafe, who is a maven, who is one of the amazing members of Prolific Cafe, says, hey, who wants to have an accountability challenge for social media so that we're all consistent about posting? Who's in? And I had been thinking about the social media thing at the same time. I'm like, here we go. This is a sign. All right. Because as a Latina, I'm like, everything's a sign. So I'm like, okay, let me post to Tracy that I'll create a little something and create a structure for it because I got my structure. And I posted a video just sharing some of the tips of what I've learned, and at the same time how to promote the posts that you're making. And so long story short, you want to be really consistent. That is the one thing that a mentor of mine, Kurt Molly, taught me a while back. He said, nobody is ever consistent ever, and the people that are the ones that win. It's just a consistency game. That's what's really, really important. So with that, I created a content planner going through Sunday through the end of the week, through Saturday or whatever, and having a structure around it. And so the idea here is posting consistently at whatever platform you choose. So if you want to be on Facebook only, be on Facebook or Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, whatever it is. And I will caution, make sure that you are hanging out where your premium prospect is, okay? Because that's the first thing. So my premium prospects are on Instagram. And of course, they're on LinkedIn and Facebook, etc. But I'm focusing for this run, being consistent on Instagram. So what I'm doing is I'm posting every single day where I'm doing video. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So the video has a structure to it though. And I'm just going to give you a little peek under the tent is around, you want to be consistent and also be thematic with it. So have a theme every single day. So it's like on Monday, I have a connection piece, and it could be anything where I am giving a tip or I'm covering a topic or I'm like, here's my rant or whatever it is, right? On Tuesday, I'm really focusing on story building and just really positioning some kind of a story so it's memorable. And then on Wednesday, I'm training and teaching on a little something, and I'm asking for feedback, much like I'm doing here, right? So I'm going to be posting this on Wednesday, and this is going to give you the structure for the content that I have. So that's on Wednesday. Thursday, it really is what Kurt Mali used to call a power post. And basically the idea there is a power post is a direct ask, meaning here's my webinar, here's my lead magnet, here's a case study, or I'm offering a clarity call, whatever it is. It's a direct pitch, if you will, for conversion purposes. Okay, so that's Thursday. And then Friday, you want to do like behind the scenes or like over the shoulder or something along those lines, right? So the idea behind there is that you have a structure. And then on the weekends, you freestyle, you do whatever you want to do, whatever you're out and about with your family, your friends, what have you. But the important thing here is to have some kind of theme every single day, and then also to be consistent. And then alongside with that, I'm going to be promoting these posts. So I did this entire training. So it's just like a little training that I posted over in Prolific Cafe. And then I said, okay, and this is exactly what I'm going to do with that after I do my post in order to create engagement, etc. And so what we want to do is build that consistency. Now, I can have the best model in the world, but if I don't have this one thing, it's all for nothing. And that is that consistency. And Patty, the way that I work is that I need accountability. So if I tell the members, if I tell the mavens in the community that I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. In other words, I'm not going to not do it because that would be a lack of integrity. I'm so good about doing that in terms of like I'm committing to my community and I have to lead by example. So that is what I am going to be doing for the next 30 days. I'm saying that because one of the most powerful things is if you do it together, if you have a support system with you that is cheering you on or that is supporting you in your post or that you can check in with. That is the power of community. And I highly, highly, highly recommend tapping into community if you have that ability. So if you are looking for a community, I highly recommend checking out Prolific Cafe at prolificcafe.com. And again, we have a special offer trial for 21 days where you can test drive it for yourself. It's completely awesome. So check me out on Instagram, Patty Dominguez _, and that is where I'm going to be posting my videos. You can reach out to me, ask me a question. Let's see how it goes in terms of like, I'm just going to do that. And as long as I have my content planner with me, I know exactly what has to get done. So I'm following the system. I'm checking in. I'm being in integrity. I'm going to be promoting some of these posts. And so we go. The idea behind this is I want to see how much of reach I get and how much expansion I can create. Because again, the key component there is having that higher purpose. And my higher purpose is really building my community because I know that the women that I'm working with are creating ripple effects. The impact is so important. And so if I can help them to activate that expansion, well, I have a moral responsibility to do that. So I cannot hold back. That would be selfish on my part to do that if I know I can help someone. So let's see how it goes for this month of June. When you are listening to this, and again, head on over to Instagram, follow me, Patty Dominguez _, and let me know what you think. So thank you so much for connecting. And I look forward to catching you on the next episode, which is going to be episode 100. And I'm so excited because it's kind of a big milestone. So I'm really excited to share the episode for next week. All right, with that, thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for checking out the Positioning to Profit podcast. If you haven't already done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new episodes. And also, it would mean the world to me if you would take a quick moment to leave a rating and review on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or your favorite podcast player. It really helps to get the word out about the podcast and, of course, the featured guests. And lastly, please make sure to connect with me on social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, I'm on all of them, and use hashtag positioning to profit so that I can search you out and connect that way too. All right, thanks so much. See you next time.